Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Śrī Upadeśāmṛtam class. So,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, let us start with Mangalacharan prayers. So, I will share my screen and then we can start. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Great. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadikamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha. Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenbandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so let us continue our journey of Śrī Upadeśāmṛtam. So this is Śrī Upadeśāmṛtam and by Srila Rupa Goswami, which is translated in English with commentaries by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada as Nectar of Instruction. And many of these topics that we will, or points or discussions, are based on in-depth classes by His Grace Hari Parshad. And he has detailed lectures on his YouTube site. That link is given here. And if you want to join his online Zoom classes, which will resume soon, since they're on pause right now because he's traveling to the US. So they'll resume soon and you can join those Zoom classes. If you would like to get the information, please let me know. With that, let us go to today's class. Before that, we will recite the three verses of the three verses that we need to memorize for Bhakti Shastri. So we do that regularly on every class. So, and we will do that in a lead and follow format. So I am displaying the verse here, just so that it helps everybody to memorize the verses. For the test, you have to memorize the translation as well. But for sake of time, we are not going to do a lead follow of the translation. So, but you must memorize that as well. So let us recite the three verses here. Lead and follow. And you can unmute and follow. So we will go line by line. Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam
Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam.
Jivha vegam udaropastha vegam.
Jihva vegam utarupastha vegam.
Etan vegan yo vishaheta dhiraha.
Etan vegam yo visahetu dhiraha.
Sarvamapi mam prithivim sashishyat.
Sarvam apimam prithvim tasya.
Atyaharah prayasascha.
Atyahara prayasascha.
Prajalpo niyamagraha.
Prajalpo niyamagraha.
Janasanghascha laulyam cha.
Janasanghascha cha.
Bhaktir vinashyati.
Shadbhir bhakti vinashyati.
Utsahan nischayat dhairyat.
Utsaham nischayadharyam.
Tat karma pravartanat.
Tat karma pravartanam.
Sangatyagat sato vritte.
Sangatyagat sato vritte.
Shadbhir bhakti prasidhyati.
Shadbhir bhakti prasidhyati.
Let's continue actually next two verses. It's not that many. So since we are doing fifth one today, let's go up to 5. But in the test, it's only just 1 to 3. Okay. Dadati pratigrahanati.
Dadati pratigrahanati.
Guhyam akhyati pritchati.
Guhyam akhyati pritchati.
Bhunkte bhojayate chaiva.
Bhunte bhojayate chaiva.
Chad vidham priti lakshanam.
Shadvidham priti lakshanam.
Okay, very nice. Ramakant Prabhu, your pronunciation is really nice. Thank you. So now we will go to the 5th verse, which is the verse for today. This one, Dadati Pratigrahanati, we covered last time. And this meter is different. As you can see, the lines are longer. So this is Vasanta Tilakam, which has 14 syllables per line. And the meter is the same as Brahma Samhita. So please repeat in this as much as possible in the same tune as me. I'm not a good singer, and I can imagine sympathize with anybody else who is not. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta.
Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta.
Dikshasti chet pranatibhischa bhajantamisham.
Dikshasti chet pranatibhischa bhajantamisham.
Shushrushaya bhajan vigyamananyamanya.
Shushrushaya bhajan vigyamananyamanya.
Nindadi shunya hridamipsita sangalabdhya.
Nindadi shunya hridamipsita sangalabdhya.
Okay, so this is the verse which we are going to cover today. Okay, so I will change it to the PowerPoint. Okay, so we will go to verse number 5. So what is verse number 5? So starting from verse number 5, there is going to be a very big change in the theme of the topics. Okay, till verse number 4, and that is why the meter also changes. Verse number 2, 3, and 4 were describing some of the things that the do's and don'ts about bhakti, how bhakti is enhanced or how bhakti is diminished or hurt. So there is one verse about how bhakti is hurt, which is the second one, which is Atyaharaha Prayashascha. What is that? Atyaharaha Prayashascha Prajalpo Niyamagraha Janashanghascha Lolyamcha. So these are the 6 items. Shadbhir Bhakti Vinashyati. And then the next 2 are for increasing bhakti. One is in general, which is all that we need to do on ourselves. That is Utsaha Nishchayat Dhairyat Tat Karma Pravartanat Sangatyagat Sato Vritte. So those are the 6 things. And then which help or enhance our bhakti, Shadbhir Bhakti Prasiddhyati. And then with devotees, with very, very close set of devotees, how we should mutually enhance our bhakti through association, through very, very close-knit loving association. So 6 things, but in pairs, 3 pairs. Dadati Pratigrahanati, Guhyamakhyati Prichhati, and Bhunkte Bhojayate. So these 3 pairs, Chaiva, Shadvidham, Priti, Lakshanam. So like this, with love, among loving, developing loving relationships with devotees, the bhakti is also enhanced. So this verse, so all these were sort of things that were helping to build our bhakti. Now, in the 5th verse, there is a very big jump, and it is talking directly about bhakta. So 2 things are happening in verse number 5. Please pay careful attention. 2 things. And what are the 2 things? It is kind of evident from this slide here. First thing is that there are 3 types of, or 3 categories of Vaishnavas. So we need to understand those 3 levels of Vaishnavas. That is point number 1, to understand the 3 broad levels of Vaishnavas. The second one is for a Madhyama Bhakta. So we will see the 3 types or 3 levels are Kanishtha, Madhyam, and Uttama. Among these 3, most people who have covered verses 1 through 4, or not 1, but at least 2, 3, and 4, who are trying to progress in their bhakti, would come to the Madhyam level. How should a Madhyam devotee or a Madhyam Bhakta react or approach or associate or basically build a relationship? What kind of relationship he should have with each of these 3 levels of Vaishnavas? So that is the essence of this verse. And therefore, this is also there is a similarity in the theme from verse 4, that it is about relationship between devotees. But the difference is that verse number 4 was about among relationship with very close-knit devotees, somebody who is very close with your heart, to your heart. And such people may be very few, maybe like we said, 3, 4, 5 at most, closest. There may be less close, may go up to 15, 20 or something like that. This verse number 5 is now talking about all devotees, the entire devotee community. So it's not about close devotees or those who the chemistry works well, or very well, whom you have been with for a long time, and so on. This is talking about the entire society of devotees. So thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions may be the number. Okay, so that is the point of this verse. So let us look at this verse. So maybe I should have gone to the next 2 slides, but we'll go and do the dissection of the verse later in the 3rd slide from here. So before that, let us understand the 3 types of Vaishnavas so that are mentioned in this verse. So the first one is Kanishtha, the next higher. So Kanishtha means beginner. It's not bad to be Kanishtha. And we had discussed some of this in the Ishopanishad verse number 6. Mantra 6, we discussed these 3 levels. So some of this may be a repetition for those who have attended that lecture, but it is good to revise. And plus there will be some new points that will be coming up from Upadeśāmṛtam side. So Kanishtha is not bad. It doesn't mean a bad devotee. It just means a beginner. Okay. We were all children at some point in our life. You cannot become an adult without being a child. So that is the beginner stages. You commit mistakes. When you start walking, you keep falling down. When you are really very small, you keep dirtying the house, and your mom has to, clean up your diapers or all those things. But it is not bad. All of us go through those stages. So don't think Kanishtha is bad, but that it is a beginner stage. Madhyam is intermediate and Uttam is the topmost. The categorization of these is based on two aspects as per Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One is Shraddha, faith in scriptures. We have always said Shraddha means primarily faith in scriptures. Even in the purport of this verse, 5th verse, Srila Prabhupada says, Shraddha means accepting the instructions of Bhagavad Gita in their totality. So Bhagavad Gita is our most foundational scripture, and accepting all of the instructions. I didn't have space to put the full sentence in the PowerPoint. Later on in this sentence, he goes on to say, therefore, not accepting based on your pieces. Oh, I like this verse, so I will accept this verse, but I will reject this other verse. So it is not like pick and choose the Bhagavad Gita based on your convenience. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita should be accepted, which means scripture should be accepted in their totality, even if we don't like a particular instruction or we find it hard to follow. Shraddha means we know we must follow. We may not be able to follow it today, but at least we must realize someday it needs to be followed. So accepting the instructions in totality, in full. So faith, knowing that yes, it must be followed. I may not be following it today, but having that faith that yes, I must do it sometime or the other. That is point number one, Shraddha. And the second one is Shastra Yukti. So we will see this word Shastra Yukti. It means actually following all the instructions, which means that the knowledge, in another way to put it, is knowledge of the conclusions of the scriptures. And in this verse, we will find a word called Bhajana Vigya. Bhajana Avigya means that completely knowledgeable about the conclusions of the scriptures. So that is Shastra Yukti. Yukta means engagement or connection, which means you are putting the Shastra, you are living the Shastra, not just you are knowing the Shastra, but you are living the Shastra. So that is, those are the two vectors on which these three levels are measured. And a very nice description is summarized by Srila Krishna Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, from 64th to 74th verse. There are 11 verses, and in these 11 verses, a very, very nice summary is given of these three levels. And three or two other scriptures have been referred to here, Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu was written before Chaitanya Charitamrita was written. So Rupa Goswami had already composed Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Chaitanya Charitamrita was written a little later by Srila Krishna Kaviraj Goswami. So he took relevant verses from Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And of course, Srimad Bhagavatam was present from long time back. So you can see here 64 to 74. So just to kind of map it out, 64 is an index verse, which basically says that these categorizations exist based on these two categories. So Shraddha and Shastra Yukti, these two words are mentioned in 64. Now you will see here, if you are seeing my cursor, so please see my cursor, 65, then you have 66, then 67, 68, 69, and 70. So alternately, Sri Krishna Kaviraj Goswami gives one verse about Uttama, then quotes a reference from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, then another of his own verse on Madhyama, then quotes from Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. I have given those verse numbers of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu as well here. And then another verse of his own, and then another verse quoting from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.19. So we have reached up to 2270, chapter 22, verse 70, like this. 71 is a verse which says that the next 3 verses are from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto. That's what it says. And then there are 3 verses from 11th canto, which constitutes verse number 72, 73, and 74, which are these verses, Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 2.45, 46, and 47. I hope you got the organization. Anyway, you can take a screenshot of this table. It's a very nice table, in these 11 verses, Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami has given a summary of these 3 levels of devotees. So more details can be obtained from all these verses. I am giving a summary from Chaitanya Charitamrita in the last column. So let us look at just the summary. So I have explained you where to get more details from these various verse numbers. And I'm giving now a summary in the last column. All right. And then we will come to what Upadeshamrit talks about here. Okay, this is not a class about Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's class about Upadeshamritam. That will come in next slide. All right. So let's first understand the basic concept of these 3 levels. And much of this is also explained by Srila Prabhupada in the Nectar of Instruction purport of this verse. I'm summarizing that whole talk here. So I'm quoting directly from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. The Uttama Adhikari. So here I have put A and B. These are the 2 criteria. So plus means he is very expert and minus means he is not expert in that area. So Uttama Adhikari is expert in both A plus and B plus. Okay. So Shastra Yukte Su Nipuna. Nipuna means expert. So in this topic of Shastra Yukti, which means knowing and applying the conclusions of the scriptures, Uttama Adhikari is Nipuna, is expert. Su Nipuna, extra expert or very expert. Su Nipuna. Dridha Shraddha, and his Shraddha in the scriptures also is Dridha, very firm, unshakable. So in both these vectors A and B, he is plus. A plus, B plus. B doesn't mean B grade. Okay, it's not like you get your grades in school, A grade, B grade. I'm just using that as 2 reference points. Madhyama Adhikari. He is Shastra Yukti Nahi Jane Dridha. So A minus, Nahi. Nahi means no. Which means that he may not have the full conclusion of the Shastra. He may not know that. Or he may not have yet fully applied it in his life. He is still in progress. Okay. So many of you can feel that. Yes, I know something is to be done. I am not able to do it today. But I have, he's Shraddhavan. So B plus. So you know that you must do it today. You have full Shraddha. You will not deny that, oh, it is not to be done. Therefore, I'm not doing it. That is not your or Madhyama Bhakta's conclusion that it is not supposed to be done. That would indicate that he has no faith in the scriptures. And that is the situation of the Kanishtha Adhikari, that his Shraddha is Komal. Komal means what?
Soft, delicate.
Yes, soft or pliable. So his Shraddha is soft, which means it's not 0. Otherwise, he would be just a, normal materialistic person, as we would say. That's 0 Shraddha in Shastra. So that is not the case. Shunya Shraddha, Yahara Shunya Shraddha, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami could have said. Prabhuji, that doesn't work. So I'm very fortunate to have Jai Sachinandan Prabhu here and Bal Nitai Prabhu. So today we have just 2 devotees here. Anybody in the vicinity, please feel free to join. This was a last minute arrangement. But we have 2 very, very elevated devotees here. So please feel free to come and take their association here. And with their permission, I'm continuing to speak. So otherwise they are more qualified to sit here and talk. So, all right. So Yahara Komal Shraddha. So which means he has some Shraddha, which is why he is a Kanishtha Bhakta. Otherwise, he would just be a materialistic person. Okay. And what is implied is that he does not have obviously the full conclusion of the Shastra, or he is not applying the Shastra. Of course, when the Shraddha itself in the Shastra is Komal or soft or pliable, then application, obviously, it is implied. Okay. So these are the three levels of the devotees: Kanishtha, Madhyama, and Uttama. Okay. Shall we go to the next slide?
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes, Mataji.
So in Madhyama Adhikari, the knowledge is, I mean, he's having full knowledge, but the
No. Okay. He has full faith in the knowledge. There is difference between having the knowledge and having faith. But okay, complete your question.
Yeah, so I was like thinking you have given A minus. That means like he's having faith, so it should be A plus and B minus, right?
Okay, did I make a mistake? No. So faith in, oh, okay. No. So A is talking about, oh,
faith, right?
did I kind of make a mistake? Shraddhavan. So he is Shraddhavan. So A plus. Okay. I'm getting confused in front of camera, when I'm on the spotlight. So did I make a mistake here? Huh? You did? Okay. Shraddhavan. So he has faith in the scriptures. Okay, so it should be A plus. You are correct. And he does not have.
Prabhuji, both are same then. Uttama Bhakti and Madhyama Bhakti both are grading same.
No. There is a nahi here. Shastra yukti nahi jane dridha. So yukti is not there. So which means B.
Oh, thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so there is a mistake here. It should be, sorry, again, I was making the slides. Making the slides and presenting the slides are both stressful activities. So thank you for Ananya Mataji for catching that mistake. It at least shows that, not at least, it shows you are paying full attention. So that is, I can make up the point that it was a purposeful mistake to see that who is listening attentively. So you get full marks, Ananya Mataji. No. My mistake. I didn't catch it. Very nice point. All right, great. Okay, so next slide. Now we will see two more descriptions or little bit details. One very simple thing that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, and finally we will come to this verse, what we are discussing today, what Śrī Upadeśāmṛtam says, in different ways. So now we have reversed the order. Previous slide was Uttama, Madhyama, and Kanishtha. Now we are reversing. It is Kanishtha, Madhyam, and Uttama. So just be careful that it's not, when we are reading Kanishtha, it is Kanishtha, and assuming I haven't made any mistakes. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, so we'll just first read what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. One who has chanted the name even once. There's a reference I have given. 15 Madhya Lila, 15th chapter, 106. He says, Eka bari, or something like that. Let us look at that actually. One time, it's very important. And because this will be the topic of discussion in the next few minutes. So 15:106, Madhya Lila, chapter 15 and 106. Oops. And I will share it here. And you can see here, Prabhu kahe yara mukhe suni ek bar Krishna naam sei pujya shrestha sabakara. So yara mukhe, from whose mouth I hear ek bar, one time, Krishna naam. He is worshipable, he is saying. He is best among people. Among this ocean of materialistic people, he is the best. Even once, ek bar. So it's a very, very important point that we must keep in mind. One who has taken the name of Krishna once, not a small thing. Compared to all the zillions of living entities that are floating around in all the universes put together, you will see that the percentage of people who would have the fortune of taking the Krishna Nam even once is very rare. And we should not forget that how good it is and we should respect such people. That is the instruction that is coming up, but we will wait for that. So back to the slides. Oops. Too many buttons. Okay, wait. What are you seeing? Veda base or PowerPoint? Oh, sorry. Okay, now you are seeing PowerPoint on Zoom?
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay, thanks. So, one who chants the name of Krishna even once. So that's another definition of saying that is a Kanishtha person. Now, you can argue if he has just said the name Krishna once, how does he have Komala Shraddha in the scriptures? He may not even have opened the first page of the scriptures, but this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is very, very merciful, and he has lowered the standard of a Kanishtha Adhikari very much. But we should still consider them as Kanishtha Adhikari, and you will see why when we go to the Upadeśāmṛtam column. Madhyama, one who regularly chants the name of Krishna, that is Madhyama. And you will see why I have put this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's definitions here and how nicely it correlates with the instructions that we get from Upadeśāmṛtam. So you will see that in just a second. And Uttama is a much higher standard, at the mere sight of whom, when others begin to chant the name of Krishna. So you can see the contrast from Kanishtha to Uttama. That for Uttama, just in his presence, people feel like taking the name of Krishna. So another point finally that is made is that you can progress from Kanishtha to Uttama in a gradual way. Krame krame, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Teho bhakta haibe Uttama. So from Kanishtha to Uttama, haibe means will become. So krame krame, gradually one can progress. It's not like you are fixed or it's your destiny. You will always remain Kanishtha or Madhyama. So now we go to Śrī Upadeśāmṛtam. So Upadeśāmṛtam says, Krishneti yasya giritam. So tam means one who, Krishneti, whose, on whose, the person whose, Krishna iti, Krishna's name, Krishna iti, and I will explain the meaning of that, iti. Giri means on the tongue or on his speech faculty. So on whose speech faculty Krishna's name exists or is there. Even once I have put in bracket coming from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's definition or his instruction. Even once is not there in the Upadeśāmṛtam. Krishneti yasya giritam. So we do not find even once or any number there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I showed you, there is a number, ek bar. But that is many acharyas have given commentary, and even once aspect applies to Krishneti yasya giritam. Madhyama is one who chants the name of Krishna regularly. Doesn't mean 24 hours a day. Then he will have no time to sleep. Then that is Namacharya, like Haridas Thakur, Srila Haridas Thakur. So that is 24/7. But who is regularly chanting for a fixed amount of time. And more specifically, by taking a vow of chanting, not just, oh, today the weather is nice, my wife has gone out of station, I have nothing else to do, my kids are not at home. So finally, Krishna's turn comes. So today's we will give some time to Krishna because I have abundant of free time. Not like that. Okay. every day taking a vow, whether you have a busy day or you have a light day. And that is typically a person who has taken Diksha and taken a vow of chanting certain amount of time or certain number of names of Krishna from a Vaishnava Guru. And cha, there you will see a word and there, cha. One who is actively performing any Krishna bhajan. Okay, bhajantam isham. So this is referring to Dikshasti chet pranatibhish. I will explain what is that. Cha bhajantam isham. So cha and doing Krishna bhajan. Isham means Ishvara or Krishna, and bhajan. So any of the limbs of devotional service. Doesn't just mean bhajan as in singing, or just doesn't mean deity worship. It means that any of the limbs of Bhagavata Shravana, Kirtana, Smarana, Padasevana, Archana, Dasya, Vandana, Sakhya, Atmanivedana, all of those are Swarupa Siddha Bhakti. So any direct, without any intermediary, okay, any direct process of Krishna Bhakti is referred to as Krishna Bhajan here in this. So Bhajantam Isham. And then at the mere sight, the Uttama is one who is inspiring others to take Krishna's name. To be able to do that, the standard is much higher. One, it is that one who is one-pointed in Krishna Bhajan, not doing anything else. You may be doing things for your livelihood, for need basis, but only for need basis, just to maintain the soul and body together. Every other ounce of time and energy is meant for Krishna Bhajan. So one-pointed, ananyam. So the line is, what is the line? Krishneti yasya giritam anasadriyeta dikshasti chet pranatibhischa bhajantamisham. Krishna bhajantamisham. Then Shrushaya bhajan vigyam ananyam, and then anya will come in the next line, but we will do that. So Shushrushaya, we should serve them. Shushrushaya bhajan vigyam ananyam. Bhajan vigyam means bhajana vidya. He is completely knowledgeable about all the aspects of bhajan. So that is he is meeting both the criteria. He knows the conclusion, he is applying it in his life, and of course he has full faith in Krishna bhajan, in the Shastra. And also someone whose heart is completely devoid of criticizing others. So you see clearly here, he is not just doing Krishna bhajan, but he is Ninda Adi Shunya Hridi. So Ninda Adi Shunya Hridi. In his heart, there is no Ninda for anybody, no criticism for anybody, which means that this is a clear line of application. It is application in one's life. So one is completely non-envious. He has no criticism for anybody, etc. is Adi. So we will look at that as well. So these are the categories, and you can see here they have a very clear alignment and match with the categories given so far. So there is complete application, there is one-pointedness, there is firm faith in the Shastra. All those criteria apply directly to Uttama Bhakta. Okay. Anybody had a question? Somebody had raised their hand. So I don't know if they lowered it or.
Prabhuji, it's me. I raised a hand. The question I was trying to understand is, at least for Madhyama, it looks like to me it's a big spectrum. So is it like that? I mean, it's like a spectrum from one end of Madhyama to the other end of the Madhyama.
Yeah, all these are big spectrums. Uttama may be a very small, I mean, the number of quantity of devotees, Uttama devotees obviously will be much smaller. Madhyam will be much larger, and Kanishtha will be even more larger. It's like a pyramid. So the bottom third of the pyramid, you can say, has larger volume than the next, than the topmost. So is that what you're asking? But they are each broad categories, yes.
Okay, got it.
Okay. And one important point I wanted to mention about this and is that it is possible that one may have taken Diksha, but also one should be actively doing Swarupa Siddha Bhakti. So direct activity, bhajantam isham, direct activity, not indirect. The difference between direct and indirect is that there is some intermediary, obviously, direct and indirect. So one cannot say that my wife is doing Krishna Bhajan or my husband or whatever, my child is doing it, I am supporting him. Plus I am doing many other things. I am going and, to the bar, I am doing this, I am doing that. But yes, this devotee his life is existing. I am providing for his livelihood. So that is very nice that one is doing that, but that becomes indirect. Okay, many people feel that, for example, I have just donated a lot of money because I have excess money to the temple or to the construction of a temple. That is enough. But I am doing whatever else I want. So yes, that is very nice. It is exceptionally nice to do those kind of things to a temple or to a devotee or to a, even a Uttama Adhikari. But one should actively be performing Krishna Bhajan in his own life. So therefore that and is there. You should have taken Diksha and you should be continuously, even after 5 years, 10 years of taking Diksha, you should continuously be performing the activity of Bhakti. Such a person, we will see what we should do for such a person. Yes.
Why is the bar so low for Kanishtha? It doesn't, like, even faith is not involved in it, right? It's just uttering Krishna in one. So
yes, we will discuss that. That question will be. So the question is, why is the bar so low for the Kanishtha? Okay. So, okay, like we will. That is the topic, major topic for today's discussion. Okay. But another point you need to understand is it's just a bar. Okay. And what really matters is what you do with that bar. The bar can be as low. The bar can be living entity. Okay, a dog is a living entity. So he gets that label. He is a living entity. Okay. Now you don't go and, marry a dog, right? So what do you do with such a person is what is important. How does that person's category apply to you? So we will see that in just a second. What should you do to such a person? And it will not be said, go and marry him. So let us go right to the next slide. And this is the most important slide for understanding this verse. So please pay attention on this slide. This contains the entire summary of the whole verse, having understood Kanishtha, Madhyam, and Uttam. This column is showing the definition of Upadeśāmṛtam. Now we have removed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's definition. We just have Upadeśāmṛtam's definition. And the right-hand column is showing what we should do. What is the instruction to us? Upadesh. Upadesh means instruction. It is nectar of instruction. So if it is just theory, then no use. Upadeśāmṛtam, as you must have seen so far, is 100% practical. It is Upadesh. It is instructions about what to do. So the right-hand column is telling us what to do. So, and another point you will see is that in the Sanskrit words, I have put the Sanskrit words, the entire verse is covered. We will go through it in just a second. So, Krishneti yasya giri tam means on whose, I should have included the word tam, on whose tongue, giri, the name of Krishna appears, Krishneti. Okay. So, that is and even once has been added in bracket. So that is the definition of, or that is the meaning of Kanishtha. What we should do? Manasa adriyeta. Are you able to understand? Manasa means what? Mind or man. Adriyeta. What is adriyeta? Adar. What do you mean, adar?
Respect.
Respect. So adriyeta means to give respect. So respect them mentally. You don't have to go hug them. You don't have to go and sit and talk with them for 2 hours. But there should be respect. And if they come across Show that respect. It's not like you walk away as a stranger. Oh, mentally I have respected. God knows I have respected, but I don't need to show it in front of that person. No, not that also. Show it with a sweet smile, with some, some gesture. Be a nice, respectful devotee. So now, do you see what you should do with a Kanishtha? Just respect mentally, and a sweet, small, brief gesture if that person comes across. Can you do that for everyone? Would you have any problem in doing it for anyone?
Not,
Huh?
If people were really
not at all.
How do you know who is bad? Very good point. That's a good segue into the next. It is not in slides, but we will cover it really soon. Nobody has appointed us to be the judge of anyone. Okay, I'll make a joking comment. Even Lalu Prasad Yadav in India at my time, he used to be one of the most, so to say, corrupt or funny or whatever politicians. The typical poster child example of, okay. So what is the problem? There is no problem in mentally respecting, because he may have taken the name Krishna once. Okay. So we will go into that a little bit more. But all that is being asked is a culture of respect, no disrespect. So that is one thing. That's the point here. Okay, so not necessarily associate. Srila Prabhupada says directly this. I have taken that phrase from Srila Prabhupada's purport. You don't have to associate with them at all, let alone closely. But mental respect can be given to everyone. Second second one, from there some seriousness begins. So Diksha Sti, one who has taken Diksha. Cha Dikshasti Ched Pranatibhish Cha Bhajantamisham. So, and one who is doing Bhajantamisham, we discussed that already. What you should do? Pranatibhish. You have to do pranam. Pranam means obeisances, like bend down on all your 4 limbs, not just 2 limbs, not just like a namaskar, but like a dandavat. May not be dandavat like a danda, like a flat, but at least on your 4 limbs. I am taking out these points from various commentaries. So one who is obtained or who has Diksha from a Vaishnava Guru and who is actively performing. Now, how do you know? Have you gone and seen in their home that whether they are actively performing? So you can have some idea. Now, this group of devotees is much smaller than the previous one. You don't know whether they have taken the name of Krishna once or not ever in their life. But you may know others who are having Diksha. That's why a name is given during Diksha. There are certain external symbols that are there. They may put on a tilak, they may put on a kanthimala, they may have so, and the expectation, and if you know them in your society, in your Vaishnava society, and here, for example, in Portland, we have a very small, sweet, group. So we should pay obeisances to such devotees. So that is the second instruction. The third instruction is what? Is for those who are, the definition is, who is one pointed in Krishna Bhajan, Bhajana Vigyam Ananyam. Ananya means what? What is the English counterpart of that?
Always.
One pointed. That is Ananya. Bhajana Vigyam in Krishna Bhajan. One who is one pointed in Krishna Bhajan. And, or not and, there is no and here. Or, and or. So you can take it either or. Someone whose heart is completely devoid of criticizing others. Anya Ninda Adi Shunya Hridam. So it is not, so Adi is very important. Adi means etc. So it is not that just his heart is devoid of criticism of others, but he is following all the other conclusions of the scriptures as well. So Ninda Adi, etc. is added there by Sri Rupa Goswami. So somebody who is fully following, who has full faith in the scriptures, and who is fully following, and who is one pointed in Krishna Bhajan. So all these points are covered. Okay. Obviously, such a person will be Bhajana Vigyam Ananyam. So there is an and. What should one do? One should try to do two things. And I have a specific aspect, serving versus associating, but let's cover that. Serve and associate. Serve them, Shushrushaya, Bhajana Vigyam Ananyam Anya. So that's how the third line starts, Shushrushaya. One should serve such devotees. And the second point is Ipsita Sangalabdhya. Sangha, as you can understand, is association. And what is meant by association specifically is in-person association. In-person association. Because, and I will go to that point really soon. So Sangalabdhya, try to associate with them personally, in person. Why in person? So let me come to this point, and then we'll come to Srila Prabhupada's point from the purport. So serving can be done even, what you could say, remotely. Do you agree? You can do service remotely. Maybe, they have given some task for you to translate something, or you can send some money remotely and serve them in that way, or help them to, maybe you can construct a little bhajan kutir for them, or so many things can be done remotely. All that counts as seva. Okay. And Sangalabdhya here is in person, and because there are certain things that are very important for such an advanced devotee who is, this is a very advanced level, Bhajana Vigyam and Nindadi Shunya. Very, very, you can see, very, very high level. It's an extremely high level. Zero criticism in the heart and one pointed in Krishna Bhajan. I don't even know, there may be hardly, I can probably count from what I know, probably such number of people on my fingers today in this world. So according to my understanding, there may be more. So associating with them is very, very precious. And in-person association, this is given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Antya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita 16.60. Bhakta Padadhuli. For such a bhakta, this bhakta is referring to Uttama Bhakta, this kind of a bhakta. Padadhuli means what? Dhula
Dust of the feet.
Dust of the feet. So can you get dust of the feet remotely? No, you have to be in person. Nobody will even mail it to you. They will be very angry if you ask them, Maharaj ji, can you please mail me some dust? You have to just grab it. If they have walked, you have to look where they put their feet on the ground. From there, just rub off some dust without them knowing. Okay? They will not give you the dust of their feet. You have to take it. So somebody else, yes, may give it and, mail it to you. That may be possible. But that person is getting Sangalabdhya. Second one is Ara means and. Bhakta Pada Jala. What does that mean? The water that has washed their feet. So we see for Srila Prabhupada, for example, there's a very nice picture where his feet are being washed. And that water is very precious. So that water can also be obtained in person only. And Bhakta Bhukta Avashesh. What does that mean? Bhukta Avashesh.
The prasad of what that they have, remains of what that they have eaten.
Yes, remains. Avashesh means remains of Bhukta. Bhukta means what they have eaten. Remember, Bhunkte Bhojayate Chaiva. So Bhunkte or Bhukta is the same thing, to eat. So whatever they have eaten, Avashesh, remnants, again in person only. Tina Mahabala. Mahabal, these provide strength, not physical strength, but spiritual strength. They enhance one's bhakti a lot. So that is the benefit. That is one of the big benefits of Sangalabdhya. Plus, another benefit is you get to see them in day-to-day life, how they live, how they walk, how they talk to each other, how they deal with small things in their day-to-day life. Without taking any name, I was happening to sit with a very who I feel is in that category. I could see her, and he was in a just a regular cab with a driver, not a devotee. How he was interacting with that cab fellow, just may have spoken hardly 20 words in total. I could learn something from that. Now this thing will never be, they will never do a Zoom or YouTube video of how I'm just sitting in the cab. But that shows something about the very nature of such a person. Who is that person behind the camera? You cannot get that from a camera. So many things can be learned by just being in the association. This point will also be covered in verse number 8, which is the last instruction of Upadeśāmṛtam. Why I'm saying 8 is the last instruction, even though there are 11 instructions. 9, 10, and 11 are out of the world. They are not even instructions. Then you are at that point on autopilot. So in that sense, and even Sri Rupa Goswami says, Iti Upadeśāmṛtam. Let me show you. Share screen. So we go to library. I'm showing you what is the importance of Sangalabdhya. That is the point. And we will go straight back to Nectar of Instruction, but verse number 8. And here, what do we say? Kramena. In this sequence, Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu Smrityoh Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyojya. Now comes the third line. Tishthan Vraje. Sitting in a place like Vraja. Tad Anuragi. One who is completely absorbed in Krishna Bhajan. Jananugami. You have to find such a Anuragi Jana. Anuragi Jana is the topmost devotee. Anugaman. To do Anugaman means what? To watch and to follow in their footsteps. So you cannot do remotely. That's why the word is there. Tishthan vraje. Tishthan means to sit down. Tishtha. Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says Tishthan means Bhagavan is sitting. 18.61. So Tishthan means to sit down. So go there. Physically go there. Tishthan vraje cannot be done remotely. Why? What you need to do by being there, Anugaman of such Tad Anuragi, who are completely absorbed in Tad means Krishna. In Krishna, who are completely absorbed, do their follow. Look what they are doing. Try to see exactly how they are living their life. And you never know how it might inspire you. It might help you in your own bhajan. They are walking, talking examples that, of, the best you can get after, other than having Krishna in front of your eyes. That's the next best. So this is the importance of Sangalabdhya. And then Lord Krishna, Sri Rupa Goswami says, Kalam Nayed, over time, Akhilam, like this, you will get completely absorbed yourself in Krishna. Iti Upadeśāmṛtam. This is the essence of all Upadesh. Iti Upadeśāmṛtam. End of story. So it's a very, very high level, and we should go and associate directly with such personalities. So whenever possible, one should, associate with such Uttama Adhikaris. Okay, so that is the difference between serving and associating. Is that clear? So if that opportunity is not available, and of course we should not associate for very long time. Okay, because there is another problem. Too much association is also not good, because you may end up committing offense to them. Familiarity breeds contempt. So then we may start treating them like ordinary person. It is our mind which may trivialize their greatness. So, but go take their association, get the strong dose of inspiration, come back, and then sit in your own place and do anugaman. Anugaman means follow in their footsteps wherever you are. And do seva. Then do remote seva. So keep serving them. So that is the difference between Shushrushaya and Ipsita Langa Sangalabdhya. Okay. So now, before we go into the next topic, I also want to mention a couple of points regarding this verse. So now in this, you can see now the entire verse has been covered. Krishneti yasya giritam, I should have added tam, manasadriyeta, you should follow my cursor. Okay, manasadriyeta, dikshasti chet, pranatibhish cha, over here cha, bhajantamisham, shushrushaya bhajana vigyam, ananyam anya nindadi shunya hridam ipsita langa sangalabdhya. So every word has been covered. So this table therefore covers the entire verse, the characteristics of the devotees and how we should approach them. Clear? Okay. Another point I wanted to mention, very nice point that Hari Parshad Prabhu brought out from various Acharyas commentaries, is there are other interpretations of this as well. This is the interpretation, very straightforward interpretation, connecting to Kanishtha Madhyam Uttama given by Srila Prabhupada and many other Acharyas. There is a very great Acharya by the name of Srila Radhanatha Gosvami, who has given another creative interpretation, which says that a very high level of standard, that one who has Krishna on his tongue and who is doing bhajantamisham and who is bhajan vigya ananyam and who is nindadi shunya hridam. So one who is doing all, so he's not doing this Kanishtha Madhyam Uttama, he's saying somebody who's doing all these things, you should do all of these things for them. So just another way to interpret the verse, but that would be like really high. Then basically it's very hard to find such a person. Another interpretation divides this third category into two, that one who is doing bhajana vigyam ananyam, you should do shushrushaya. So just line by line, shushrushaya bhajana vigyam ananyam anya. So that line is one category. The fourth line is the fourth category, which is nindadi shunya hridam ipsita langa sangalabdhya. So 4 categories instead of 3. But Srila Prabhupada has given 3 categories. We will stick with that interpretation. There is no problem with it. It fully and completely supports our process of bhakti. So I just wanted to mention that there could be other interpretations of that. Another point that I just wanted to mention from, again, Hari Parshad Prabhu's presentation, Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta. Okay. So if he has the name of Krishna on his tongue, we should offer respect to such a person. Agreed? What if he has the name of Ram or Narasimha Deva? Should we not offer respect? This verse says Krishneti. Oh, you only have Ram. So sorry, you don't get my respect. So that should not be the understanding. This concept in logic is known as upalakshana. Upalakshana means in the verse it may say Krishneti. Okay. But it means that for all the other names, Namna Makari Bahuda, the Lord has so many names. So any name can be substituted here. Like my children had final exams. So one of my sons was saying, oh, this subject is really hard. I said, you better study well for this subject. So does that mean I'm telling him it's okay to fail in the others? I told him study well for this subject. Then he said, I got A in this, I failed in all the others. Wait, why? You told me to study only for this subject, not for the other ones. So that doesn't work. So that is called upalakshana. I'm saying one thing, but it applies broadly. Okay. So that is another point. So sometimes, and this is important instruction, sometimes I have personally seen, especially within our ISKCON society, since we are international society for Krishna consciousness, sometimes we get too attached to Krishna. And then anybody who is, oh, I am devotee, or I have really Lord Ram in my heart, then then we feel like, oh, he's second grade. And also in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So what does Ram mean? Huh? Radha Ramana. Again, Radhaji has come. Somebody will say Balram. So anything related to Krishna, not Lord Maryada Purushottam Ram. Oh, that cannot be there in Hare Krishna, Hare Rama Mahamantra. How can Ram be there in Krishna Mantra? No. So I was listening to a very nice class, I think by Chaitanya Prabhuji, or was it by Gauranga Prabhu? I can't remember. Both of them were visiting the US recently. And very nice explanation they gave of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, how the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is to be interpreted in various bhavas, in the Sakhya bhava, in the Dasya bhava, in the Vatsalya bhava, and in the Madhurya bhava. So, I don't remember the details, but there are various interpretations, various of the same Mahamantra, and with various moods that a devotee has, one can understand who is Krishna, who is Rama, and who is Hare. So depending on one's bhava and one's mood, but we should definitely respect that if the other person is considering Rama to be Lord Rama, absolutely that is a bona fide interpretation. So like this, that's why this word, this upalakshana for Krishna is very important, because sometimes we get too hung up on Krishna and Krishna only. Everybody else is not good enough. And then we begin quoting Krishna has 64 qualities and then they have 60, and we start giving numbers. So that's not good. Okay. So Manasa, so we are already at 7:15. So let's see. So Manasa Driyeta. So now we go a little deeper into this point. Give respect to everyone. Manasa Adriyeta. Who has taken the name of Krishna even once? What are you losing? It is said that even biologically, right? Prabhuji is a doctor. It takes fewer muscles to smile than to frown. Correct?
I've heard that.
You heard that. So, you are spending less energy in smiling than frowning if you have to move fewer muscles. What is the problem in smiling or giving respect? No problem. So no need to be stingy in giving respect. Does not mean close association. You don't have to do guhyam akhyati prichati. You don't have to do bhunkte bhojayate. You don't have to do close association. So there one has to understand that, yeah, this was the other point. Very important point Srila Prabhupada made, I forgot. One should use your intelligence. Krishna has given intelligence to distinguish between the levels and how you should approach or how you should interact with such people. Use your intelligence. Don't keep your intelligence on the shelf and just sort of go by the book. Everything may not be in the formula. Then you have to improvise. You use your intelligence, understand the spirit, not just the letter of the law. Understand the spirit and apply it. So that is the point. And one should also know your own position and not imitate a devotee on a higher platform. So give respect to everyone. Respect.
Another good point is Krishna is in the heart of everyone.
Yes. Exactly. Krishna Prabhuji is saying is in the heart of everyone. So you can even take it one level lower. Even if he has not taken the name of Krishna, Krishna is present in everyone's heart. What do you lose by giving respect? Nobody has appointed you. This is an important point. Nobody has appointed you to be the gutter cleaner or the sewer cleaner. Oh, it's my job to fix everyone, to uplift everyone. No, there are certain roles in which it is your job to uplift people. If you are their spiritual master or teacher or parent, yes, but otherwise, or in some kind like a king or a management position, like, where somebody is accepting your authority. Other than that, nobody has appointed you anything of anyone. So don't take on a assumed role of being the judge or the uplifter of somebody. And in the absence of that, offer respect.
Wait afterwards.
No, sure.
So the other thing is, this is a solution for us for material conception, because by the process of doing Manasa Adhikari, one, because the problem for Kanishtha Adhikari is the material consciousness, where one's not appreciating association of others, including devotees. And by the process of doing Manasa Adhikari, one is actually helping to diminish that material consciousness and recognizing the presence of spirit soul in every living being, and the connection between spirit soul and
Yeah. So
it's not just seeing what they're doing, where they're at. By us doing this, we're uplifting our own self.
yeah. So Prabhuji, so those who could not hear on the Zoom, Prabhuji is saying that it not only for the other person and seeing rather knowing that or just offering the respect, but it uplifts our own consciousness to even come to the realization that Krishna is present in their heart, or they may have taken Krishna's name once sometime in their life. So it is a very big cleansing process for us as well. So on the other hand, we should not use this as something, oh, it is said you must respect everyone, so now you have to respect me. Okay, so Vaishnavism is a harmonization of opposites. Okay, do for others, but don't expect or ask for it. Okay, so like
That one point you missed, I think, is an important point. Respect is not meant for only one's God brother.
Yes, I'll come back to that. So I'll finish this thought. So do for others, but because the rule is that you should do for others, don't make yourself the others. Oh, you should do for others, therefore you should do for me. And this is very nicely given in this Shikshashtakam verse. Trinadapi sunichena taroriva sahishnuna manina amanadena. So what it means is that amanina, which means that don't expect man or honor from others, mana dena, but give it to others. So amanina, you should be humbler or lower than a blade of grass. Trinadapi sunichena, niche, sunichena, be below the blade of grass, so that everybody is on top of you. So let everybody be on top, you be the lowest. So don't expect. One point was missed here. So very, very big point, and we will kind of hone on it for the rest of the discussion today. We may not be able to finish this, but very important point, that respect, sometimes we restrict it to somebody who is like us. And especially in Vaishnava circles, there are so many ways to divide ourselves. Us versus them. And fill in the blank, whatever you define as us. It could be, oh, my God brothers, my spiritual master is the best, and therefore everybody who is a disciple of my spiritual master is better than everybody else. or even when the spiritual master's disciples become much large, then also divisions come. It's not just, oh, spiritual, at least then you have faith on your spiritual master. I have seen, oh, India disciples and Western disciples of the same spiritual master. Oh, you are an Indian disciple, or, I'm from rest of the world. So India and rest of world. And spiritual master is beating his head. What did I do? I never told them to do all this division. Or for one institution or sampradaya. Oh, Gaudiya Sampradaya versus Shri Sampradaya versus this. They're all Vaishnavas. So it is for all Vaishnavas. Everybody who has Krishna or any other name of Krishna on his tongue should be given respect. So very important point. And that is actually taking us to the next point, that do not push people away based on groupism. This groupism is a cancer, is a very, very big cancer. And we can see it as a cancer even in our material world. It's the cause of all fights. There is no religion in this list, but there are so many divisions. Massacres, genocides have happened based on these divisions. Black versus white. Countries have fought wars. Millions have died based on this. Race, Jews versus, whatever, superior class, rich versus poor, north, south, male, female, one suppressing the other, liberal, conservative, and, whatever came to my mind. And there are 100 other ways to divide people. That is human nature in Kali Yuga, to quarrel. And quarrel means you have to first you have to draw a boundary, then you quarrel. Without a boundary, how can there be a quarrel? So always there is quarrel. So even in this neighborhood, there is quarrel. People on this side of the street versus that side of the street. Okay, which side, if there is, fence need to be built or whatever, sidewalk need to be built or sidewalk need to be closed. Oh, why don't you close the sidewalk of that guy? Why do you have to close the sidewalk of my side? My children play on the sidewalk. Well, what about their children? I don't care. Don't close my sidewalk. Close theirs. So across the street also there can be divisions. So there are so many ways. So let us not introduce more divisions, certainly not in Vaishnava societies. Rupa Goswami is Dhira Adhira Jana Priyo Priyakaro. So he was loved by the Dhiras and Adhiras. Dhiras means the devotees, or Dhira means sober people and non-sober, but the meaning is devotees. And he was equally liked by even the non-devotees who do not follow any Vedic or Vaishnava principles. Even they liked him because he was just a thorough gentleman, first of all. Second, he was a Vaishnava. So by his example and by his teachings, we should learn from all of those. So there is a very nice joke. I don't know if you have heard Hari Parshad Prabhu's class. So this is directly taken. Others are summaries from his talks and other acharyas, but this example I came to know directly from his talk. So this is the story of a person. Let me see how it appears. Yeah. Who I saw at a time who was about to jump off a bridge. So I need one role player. So who want to be role player? Bharantai Prabhu, you want? Sure. So you have to come here then, because then it has to go in the mic. And speak loudly. Okay. So I will speak. So I'm trying to, we'll do a role play. I will speak one line, you speak the next line. And it is a Christian joke about how we divide and divide and divide. Okay. So once I saw a person on a bridge about to jump. Okay. I said, so you will say the next line. Okay. I said, don't do it.
He said, nobody loves me.
No, you don't say that he said, just say that.
Nobody loves me.
God loves you. Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Huh. Are you a Christian or a Jew?
A Christian.
Me too. Protestant or Catholic?
Protestant.
Me too. What franchise?
Baptist.
Me too. Northern Baptist or Southern Baptist?
Northern Baptist.
Me too. Northern Conservative or Northern Liberal Baptist?
Northern Conservative Baptist.
Me too. Northern Conservative Baptist Great Lakes region or Northern Conservative Baptist Eastern region?
North Conservative Baptist Great Lakes region.
Me too. Northern Conservative Baptist Great Lakes Region Council of 1879 or Northern Conservative Baptist Great Lakes Region Council of 1912.
Northern Conservative Baptist Great Lakes Region Council of 1879.
Die, heretic. And I pushed him over. So I hope you get the point. I ignored 10 similarities and I suddenly from a friend, he became an enemy because of one little technicality. So that is our tendency of pushing away people based on, sect and subsect and subsect and subsect. First, oh, do you believe in God or not? Oh, you believe in God? Okay, which one? Krishna or Rama? Oh, Krishna. Okay, and which sampradaya? Gaudiya sampradaya or Sri sampradaya? Gaudiya sampradaya. Okay, within ISKCON or outside ISKCON? Okay, within ISKCON. Okay, this Guru Maharaj or that Guru Maharaj? Okay, this one. America or India? America. We keep dividing. We just basically, want to create divisions. So that is a very, very big cancer that we should try to avoid. We must avoid, absolutely. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura, who is the spiritual master, and this was happening even in his time. I mean, we see that happening, and this is just the nature of Kali Yuga. It will be there. These divisions is not just in Vaishnava societies. Like we said, it's in every society. It's in the whole world. If Elon Musk is successful in creating a, population in Mars, I'm sure there will be a war between Earth and Mars after some time. It's just another division. We'll develop missiles or bombs to send from here, which will explode Mars. Material creation, yeah, especially magnified in even more in Kali Yuga. So we will create a Death Star to blow up Mars. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura often used to quote this: Ashakto ham griharambhe, shakto ham griha bhanjane. So ashakto means I am powerless. I don't have the power to griharambhe, to begin a house. Arambha. Arambha means to begin or to create a griha, a house. So I cannot build a new house on my own. Shakto aham griha bhanjane. But I have a lot of power. I am perfectly capable to destroy an existing house. So we do not have the right to destroy these societies that are created by division, by harsh words. All these acharyas have created wonderful societies. Gaudiya Math was created, and especially our beloved Srila Prabhupada has created ISKCON. And we should all live very nicely, cooperatively. And the currency of cooperation is respect. Okay, so we must have mutual respect for all the devotees, at least all the devotees, if not everyone in the whole world. Abhimanyu Prabhu, you have your hand raised or something?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, on this division part, Prabhuji, but I'm just thinking, somebody can argue, right? The same, like you've written, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj created Gaudiya Math, but Srila Prabhupada, why did he have to create another ISKCON? He could have continued with that same thing. But as we know now today,
I have a perfect answer to that question. The Gaudiya Math was pretty much non-functional by the time he created ISKCON. Within Gaudiya Math, he tried to spread the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the instructions of Lord Krishna from Bhagavad Gita, into the West. That was direct instruction by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura to Srila Prabhupada, and even the other god brothers knew it. So he went and asked for their help to support him, and they told him that if you have to do it, you have to do it outside of Gaudiya Math. So he did not leave. He did not pull himself out. He was pushed out. And you can read all about it in the Srila Prabhupada Lila Amritam. So he did not have any inclination or any desire to create a competing society or anything like that. That was never his mood or intention.
Right, Prabhuji. Yes, I have seen that in that book. The thing is, anybody who does this, so see, Gaudiya Math is still existing, right? And we know that the previous acharyas did not support him when he wanted help for going to the West and preaching. But I mean, even today, if somebody breaks and creates a subdivision, let's say of ISKCON, they have their own reasons. So in their mind, they are valid because they will say, this guy didn't listen to me, like Paramahansa Prabhu is not supporting me, so I'll start my own class. Let's say, I'm thinking, right? So the person who does it is always having valid reasons to do something. So, I mean, on that perspective, right? Because people can say, why didn't Srila Prabhupada do more, this? I'm just going from a devil's advocate perspective here.
So, okay, I think you are mixing up. Here is my answer. You're mixing up 2 points. The fact that Srila Prabhupada created a ISKCON, which is obviously different from Gaudiya Math, is not out of disrespect for Gaudiya Math. He created it to advance the instruction of his spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna. It was, first of all, not out of any grudge or out of any, the disrespect was not the reason. He wanted to move forward his agenda, a spiritual agenda, a perfectly bona fide agenda. And he did that. And for that, if he had to create a society, he created it. If you want to forward your bona fide, an agenda, I'm saying why I'm adding the word, because agenda is typically used in a negative way. You know, he has an agenda, or like he has like a hidden agenda, we think. So, but if you have a pure intention and something is coming in the way of it, you do what you have to do to go ahead, and you don't do something which belittles or backbites, name calls, damages what I am doing. You go and do whatever you want. So like you gave like in a joking way, you gave an example. I'm doing my class in Bethany area. You want to do class, let's say in Camas area. We don't have to become envious of each other or competitors at all. You know, we should support each other. If you say, Prabhuji, give me your slides or whatever, this, that, and we should share, we should work cooperatively so that we both do that. So that's what happened in Srila Prabhupada's case. There was no Gaudiya Math presence or attempt to preach in the West. There were attempts during Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Maharaja's time, but they were not very successful. And Srila Prabhupada wanted to give it another try. And he was given all the reasons why he shouldn't, or for their lack of support. So he said, okay, I will just do it on my own. By his actions of creating ISKCON, did Gaudiya Math get damaged or diminished in any way?
We are not sure, right? I mean, hopefully not, probably not.
You don't know then, yeah. So why do you have to assume? So the answer is the answer is no then. If you don't know, then the clear, straightforward answer should be no, or I don't know, therefore the answer is no. So I'm telling you, as far as, again, my knowledge goes, answer is no. So what is the problem? So this does not apply there. This, when I am saying I cannot build a new house on my own, but I'm perfectly capable of destroying an existing one, the meaning of this is that the intention is to break. come up with some fighting, some reason to divide within that. You are not forwarding any spiritual agenda by doing this. It is just a division.
Can I continue on this part?
On some material topic or on some material aspect. Maybe, you know, who should be temple president? There are some temples where we have this fight. Then there is voting, and it becomes like no different than a campaign. Oh, then, Hare Baba, whether it is this president or that president, will the deity worship, will he change the deity from Sri Radha Krishna to some other, or Sri some, you know, will he change? No. Will he change the prayers that are sung? Will he, the Guru Ashtakam will no longer be sung? No. So those are the points. When you break something existing. So this Ashakto aham griharambhe, Shakto aham griha banjane doesn't mean that if you are capable to create a new house, you should never create a new house. But don't do it at the cost of breaking the existing one. Down the street, go ahead and create your own house, no problem. If you are capable. People are more capable of destroying exist. That is the focus. So I think what the point is for the focus is on, don't destroy something. You want to create new things, go create, no problem. Down the street, go and create. That's a good thing. Yes, go ahead. You said you wanted to continue the line of thought.
Maybe not this, or maybe we can talk in a temple. I mean, that is now in the ISKCON, right? You have the ISKCON Bangalore thing. How do we put that in this kind of context, or how would that be? But again, maybe we can speak, just curiosity,
yeah,
right?
So those are specific points about Ritvik versus non-Ritvik and all that. And there is a big debate going on. So yeah, I don't want to get into that. But one can say, yes, you're taking a spiritual issue with whether that is a bona fide item or a bona fide siddhanta or not. And then you are, so I will refrain from talking about that one specifically. But there are, so because the contention is on a siddhantic topic. I am very clear myself which side I am on, but I don't want to speak about this in a public platform like this. But there are, for every even siddhantic discussion, there is another big siddhantic topic, whether females should be allowed to initiate, Diksha Gurus should be made Diksha Gurus or not. Siddhantic ones, but there are so many disputes. Do you agree on pure material topics? Like I just hypothetical example I gave, or where should we build temple? Maybe there is a bigger mass of devotees and they say, no, we should build it here versus we should build it there. Okay, so then there is fighting on that. Funds that have been collected. Okay, so, you know, whatever, you know, so many things. Whether there is, I have, you know, discussed, seen these things, or should we buy, there is a nice book, you know, some other devotees have written, no, we should only buy Srila Prabhupada's book. If you are buying book written by another devotee, you are poisoning as if it is poison. Remember, Srila Prabhupada himself said other devotees can write some books. So what is the problem? No, some people are just completely fixated on this point. So, you know, where it is written in Siddhanta, otherwise then no other person, even Srila Prabhupada shouldn't have written any books. So many books have been written before. Then we should reject, you know, every other book other than the one written by Vyasadeva only. No commentaries. Even Sridhar Swami's commentary also, the first commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam also we should reject. Why you can't read direct Srimad Bhagavatam?
The other point, I think the other point is there's also a matter of appreciation in addition. Why are there 4 bona fide sampradayas? Why is there not just one sampradaya? Because each of them, by definition, adds something to Siddhantic understanding and accepted. In Krishna Gosvami mentions the desire tree of Mahaprabhu, and says there are innumerable branches and leaves coming off the desire tree of Mahaprabhu, and some flowered and some did not, depending on their connection with Mahaprabhu. We're called the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya, but there's the Madhava Sampradaya too, right? So the point is, you know, adding rather than just distracting. Srila Prabhupada created the League of Devotees when he was in India. No problem. There was a need to expand Bhakti tradition to the West. And so he created an organization called International Society. So, I think the point is that variety exists in spiritual life. And there's a purpose, because Lord Krishna is unlimited, so his service can be unlimited. And as if the intent is to serve Bhagavan in a meaningful manner without desiring some material return, then that's bhakti. So I would suggest just reading, Chaitanya Charitamrita on the Desire Tree of Mahaprabhu.
So Prabhuji's, thank you, Prabhuji. So Prabhuji, if you didn't hear on Zoom, is saying that there is also, each one adds variety. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a whole tree. There's a whole chapter in Adi Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita on a whole tree of the family of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and each one is adding another aspect, a rasa, a sub aspect of rasa to the entire Vaishnava society. So everyone, each gopi was adding a new flavor for Lord Krishna. Otherwise, why Lord Krishna cannot just have association? Why so many? Because each one is adding a own variety.
Why do we need 4 sampradayas?
Why do we need 4 sampradayas versus 1? You can just have just 1 sampradaya. And so all these points are there. So there is no problem in creating more variety. If more variety is created, that is nice. But don't destroy an existing one. That is the main point that we need to get. Not that why did somebody, if this is the case, then why did somebody create something else, is not the right that's not the meaning that was being pointed, that one should never create anything else. But don't destroy an existing one. Last slide is just, I wanted to finish this topic of respect. Prakashananda Saraswati's students would mock Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for singing and dancing on the streets of Varanasi. And, because they were not used to this kind of sannyasi, even though it was 100% bona fide from Srimad Bhagavatam, which they also respect. And still, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never spoke harsh words to them and showed full respect. Another example, Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur and Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, they were contemporaries, and they both wrote biographies on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Vrindavan Das Thakur is the Vyasadev. He gave him the topmost position. There was absolutely no competition, only respect. So when we see all this in our Acharya's example, then we should try to follow in their footsteps. So that's I'll pause here. We'll finish this next verse. There are a few more slides left on this verse, on Diksha and on the position of Uttama Adhikaris. And we will start verse number 6 as well next week. So any questions or any comments?
No. First of all, I think it was an excellent class, and the interjections added to my understanding. So if I had to summarize my understanding, differences will exist, but you need to respect the other person, and your point about Krishna being in the other person will help us to respect other people, right? Irrespective of the differences. And then Prabhuji's comment about not only respecting, but appreciating that their point of view, though different from ours, is bringing something to the conversation, is also a beautiful point. So that it was, for me, it was literally like a continuum. I understood first that differences will exist. This point added to me that, if you respect the Krishna within them, then you can respect them meaningfully without, belittling them. And then the point about appreciating was taking it even further, that, not only am I respecting the other human being, I'm appreciating that he's bringing richness or diversity because of his opinion. Is great, actually.
Very nice. Excellent. So that is what happens when we read in or understand in association.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think the other thing is, looking at the slides, egoistic tendency is so strong when we come to being in this material world. We talk about my son, my class, my guru. So where's the guru? The guru's gone. It's my guru. Hi. So once I, Srila Prabhupada used to say, everything for Krishna, nothing for me. So why do we care more for our own children's illness than some other child of some other family? Why do I care more for my own, So it's an egoistic tendency to appreciate that which is related to me. And when you hear about creation, the first thing, one of the first things that comes in is ahankara, false ego. When a jiva is established in the material world, and according to Shastra, one of the last things that leaves is, before one leaves material existence, is ahankara, false ego. So it's an understandably very difficult stain to remove from our heart. The Atma, by identification, does not have Swarup. Atma is without form. So I think it's important to understand that when we see this amongst ourselves, asking, how will this help me in my process of exiting material existence? If it won't, then it's just basically trash that we should throw away.
Thank you. So Prabhuji was mentioning the point of ahankar. That is the sort of the root of our divisions or propensity to create divisions, mine versus theirs. That's the summary. Any last minute points? I know we have ran over. If not, then we will see you all next week or tomorrow in the Bhagavad Gita class for those that are attending, otherwise next week. So we will conclude verse 6 and hopefully start verse 5 and start 6, because there's very little left in 5. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna
you.
Prabhuji.